Hello, welcome back. We are on episode 3. My name is William Brown, and we're talking about all things service and serving. Um, just glad to have you back. Good morning if it's morning, good afternoon if it's afternoon, good evening if it's evening, happy midnight if it's midnight. Happy early in the morning. If you're just watching this early in the morning, you're doing your deep diving into different things on YouTube, onto the podcast, onto whatever form that this will be on. We just welcome you. We ask that you will hit the like button, subscribe button, um, throw in some comments. We want to ask you to do all of that. We're just happy to have you, and we look forward to many more episodes to come, and they will be coming. That I guarantee you. Unless, as the old folks in my area would say, unless the sun don't shine and the creek don't rise, something like that. Somebody put in there how that saying goes. I used to hear it all the time. I rarely said it. Every once in a while I throw it out there, but throw in the comment how that saying goes. But thank you for being here once again. My name is William, talking all things service, serving, all of that, whether we're talking about schools, businesses, delivery, driving, restaurants, hotels, motels, Holiday Inn, all of that. Um, we just like to have fun with the channel. We like to have fun talking about these things, and we like to give plenty of information and conversation that can help you. So on this episode 3, part 1, hopefully it'll be the only part unless something comes up through. Anyway, um, we're going to be talking about another important thing when it comes to customer service. And that important thing, not only is the greeting, it's great to be greeted. It's wonderful to be greeted with a smile. A smile will go miles. And you hate going into an establishment where everybody looks like they just sucked on a lemon, or they just had somebody slap them or their mama and they ready to slap you. So you can greet and it still not stick because you look so angry about where you're at. And I understand there are some jobs that you just don't want to be on. I understand that sometimes you have a boss that gets on your nerve, or you had a customer that just got on your nerve, or any of that kind of stuff. And there are situations where some of us, we are working and we're dealing with many things in life that are bringing us down. But we have to remember that we aren't the only ones going through situations that are bringing us down. We're not the only ones going through. We're not the only ones in a storm. We're not the only ones going in the storm. And we all hope to come out the storm and feel good. But just because we're going in the storm, or we're in a situation, or we're dealing with things, don't mean the customer isn't either. Doesn't mean the client isn't either. Doesn't mean the patient isn't either. Um, and if it's a patient, we know that there's a good chance maybe they're going through something in the medical profession. But we have to have a smile that we can give somebody. Um, you know, you can Kurt Franklin and J. Cole. I'm an example of that. You can give a smile and have a crooked smile and still smile. Now, everybody ain't gonna be Tyler Perry. One day I plan on having something like that, but you don't let that stuff hold you back. Doesn't matter what situation you're in. You can still smile for someone. It's important. And if you want to stand up and stand out from the crowd, um, especially in today's environment, if you greet and smile, you're already ahead of most other people, businesses, and establishments, because so many people are walking around uh, working, servicing, and looking angry. You know, at churches, and you have either the greeters or the ushers or any of that kind of stuff. And these are people who, um, if they do it well, they do it well with a smile. As a young kid, that was one of the first things that my parents had me doing at the church I was going to, is being an usher. I think that set a lot of the mark for who I am and who I became. One, my mom was very generous, and she was the type of person who had the heart for people. Two, when you are trained in being an usher, um, it's a number one service type of thing, if I'm saying it correctly. I'm trying to use the right words for it. Sometimes I don't charge it to my head, not my heart. Sometimes the words don't come the right way. But in being trained as an usher, you're trained to value and serve others to the utmost degree. And when people come into church, sometimes they are not in the best mood. And I'm sure there are other houses of worship that may have things established like that. Put it in the comment if you are from another background and how you guys greet. I'd love to know how people in the mosque, do you guys have ushers or something like that, or greeters, or people in the synagogue, or any of that, because I've never been to any of those. Um, but the whole thing is having a smile. When you go into a restaurant, if the people that's working in the restaurant are smiling, it's important because it makes you feel better. Even if you're dealing with a hard time, or if you're just having a good time, you still want to see somebody smile. We got enough bad news going on in the world, and it's not just today, it's been that way all the time. You watch the news and you're going to hear something bad. Now with social media, you're reading in your feeds, you're going to see something bad. You're going to hear something bad. You're going to hear stuff that might make you depressed. Every time you fill up your gas tank right now, as we speak, you can get a little angry. You can have a little, you just a little upset because you're like, wow, my dollar is not going far at all. I got to stack these dollars just to get a gallon. It's just the way it is. So you rather see somebody smile and show appreciation than looking mad and angry. So put in the comments of some of the places that you've gone to and that they have consistency in them greeting and smiling. Once again, I'll throw up, there's Chick-fil-A. There are Chick-fil-A's in our area, especially one where I can never remember going in there except for maybe one time where always greeted and almost always see smiles. I'm sure there are other establishments. Once again, I'll go back to the first job, W-2 job I had, which was at a jewelry store, and that was part of the training. You're going to greet, you're going to smile. It is just something that you do and you continue to do. So that's important. You know, like I said, you can Kirk Franklin and still J. Cole. You can smile even though it may be crooked. You know, it's better for you to smile than to just be angry, or just look angry, because you know your smile might not be for the person that comes in there because they're like thinking in their head, oh, they got jacked up, whatever, or whatever. But they can go to somebody who's got the Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, whatever going on, and just as angry and mean and nasty as they can be. So, as a customer, as a servicer, as someone who services somebody, no matter who you are, where you are, or how you look, it's more important that you can give that person a smile that's genuine from the heart than to be that next person who just don't. And they just having the roughest day in the world according to their face and their demeanor and their aura. So definitely, I can hear the Kurt music going right now. Smile, da, 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 da. Play that next on your if you're on YouTube, play that next. Either that or J. Cole, Crooked Smile, either one. Um, but put in your comments of some of the places that you've been to that are consistent with smiling. I don't care what area of the country you're from, throw it in there. Throw out some names of people that you appreciate their servicing, from the greeting to the smiling, and it stuck with you. Things that you can remember. I can remember William Zimmer always smiling with the customer, bringing them in. I can remember one of my first managers, Carl Lynn, I think was his last name, if I can remember. He was fabulous with it. Brian, I'm just going back, riffing and thinking about people from when I first got into this. I can remember the lady who headed my youth usher group at the church I went to. Her name was Janet Evans. She loved people. If she had a bad day, you really did not know it. And I know she's had bad days. She was a nurse. She worked in nursing. But as a usher, she always greeted people and had a wonderful smile. I can riff back and let me see if I can think of some other people. Mr. Zimmer's partner, he was great with it. Mr. George Kaplan, he was wonderful. Greet, smile, all of that. Energy, super amount of energy. Isn't it amazing? That's another thing. Isn't it amazing how much energy you give off when you smile and people energize and lift up off of that versus when you frown? You frown, you just drain all the energy out of the room, the environment. If you're in the church, the sanctuary. If you're in the business, the business. If you're in, working at the doctor's office. And I know some of you out there, you work at a doctor's office, you might have coworkers, they never smile and they just drain. You just hate being around them. Energy drainers. You would just want to call Duke Energy and be like, come and bring some energy and plug this person up. Or Progress, or wherever you're at, whatever energy company you have in your area. But people who don't smile, they drain energy. They just bring it out of you. And then you feel like you have to pump them up and energize them sometimes. It's just, I know, it's difficult. Put it in the tap. Talk about some of your experiences of what smiles do for you when you go into an establishment, or shoot, even when you servicing your family. I try to make sure my family see me smiling because I want to bring energy to them and I want them to reflect it off. And then when two people are smiling together, they just become nuclear and bring way more energy into a place. It's just amazing. It's amazing that greeting, acknowledging someone, and that smiling. It's just an amazing thing. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Throw in your comments, do some emojis, all of that, and just smile. See you on the next episode.